Hey everybody, this is AblazedApple, and thank you so much for tuning back in to more Pokemon Emerald. In the last episode, we challenged the Rustboro City Gym and defeated Roxanne pretty handedly. We also made some way into the east part of Rustboro City and found ourselves in Rust Turf Tunnel, helping a man with Team Aqua. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and make our way out of the tunnel and kind of do a little bit more exploring on the route that we just kind of blazed through. But if you like what you're seeing here, be sure to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Maybe even ring the bell. That way you see more content as it comes to your subscription box. It lets me know you enjoy what I'm doing here. Alright. So now that we have cut, what we can do is we can take on the cluster of trainers up the top of this hill. And we can see what items we can collect up here. Alright, so we got a rich boy and a lady, and like I said before, you just got to be mindful of the fact that they have a full restore on pocket. So if you happen to get their HP low enough, they will trigger that full restore use. Oh, a critical hit, nice! I'll take that, absolutely. Also, one of those neat little mechanics about Advance, but specifically with double battles, is if you have a speed, like in order of speed, if your two Pokemon are basically like 1 and 2, and your first Pokemon essentially one-hit knockouts the opponent's Pokemon, that means the next Pokemon can essentially attack the next Pokemon that comes out, because in Advance Gen 3, the doubles mechanic automatically makes you sub out a Pokemon on the same turn. So you can essentially go for 2 KOs on one side rather than just 2 KOs from each opponent. It's weird, but it's definitely one of those mechanics I know speedrunners try to utilize to the best of their ability if they know that they can take out certain Pokemon that come in order. I mean, it's a really interesting mechanic, and it's only unique to Gen 3, because in Gen 4 they corrected to where if you knock out one trainer's Pokemon in a doubles battle, they're not allowed to put in a substitute until the next turn. Again, it's just those neat little tidbits that just really make these games very unique for being as old as they are. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, let me know in the comments, what is your favorite Pokemon spin-off? For me, it'll always be the Mystery Dungeon series, because of just how unique they are for being RPGs, but not traditional Pokemon RPGs. Especially the Explorers of Triad, like Time, Darkness, and Sky. Those are what I think are the best Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. They just do so much so right, especially for being sequels to Red Rescue and Blue Rescue, which Red Rescue being on Game Boy Advance and then Blue Rescue being on Nintendo DS when it launched. It was a very unique situation where you had one game that connects to the other and not vice versa. So if you had Blue Rescue, you could connect to Red Rescue, and with Red Rescue you had to rely on Blue Rescue for connectivity, but it still worked. It was just, it wasn't, I don't think it was the same. And I could be very wrong about that. Okay, we'll the repel cut off. And here we got Chesto Sprouts. hopefully we can come back around at some point and harvest the fully bloomed chest of berries. But in the meantime, let's just go ahead and hop down the hill. One thing I would like to show off is when you have cut, you can use it in the field to cut grass. In the case you don't have repels or just you can't avoid the grass, it's a perfect way to just avoid wild encounters. We got his Devin goods back. And another great ball. Oh, and now we have a parcel. We really did kind of end up being the chore boy for this guy, unfortunately. But that's okay. It gets us going to new places, so it works out. And now, we have a letter to deliver to Stephen in Dewford. And we got ourselves a Pokénav, the essential tool of Hoenn. And we get healed, which is a good thing. Alright. Real quick, let's just go through the Pokénav. Obviously, here's the Hoenn map like he was talking about. So this is just a zoomed out version. If you press A and zoom in, you can see the grid layout of an area that you have already visited. But if you haven't visited a location, like Fall Arbor Town for example, you can't see the grid. So we go back to Petalburg, Oldale Town, and Littleroot, and we have those grid layouts. And as for the next place, Dewford, we can't even see that. And then there's Condition, which this is more or less a contest feature. And in Emerald, unfortunately, you only do contests in Slateport City. But in Ruby and Sapphire, you have the opportunity to do your first Pokemon contest in Slateport City. So right after the first gym badge, maybe even after your second gym badge. But contest stats are an entirely different rabbit hole, unfortunately, and it can get a little crazy. And only in Hoenn does Feebas evolve into Milotic because of contest stats. I believe this guy? Yep. This guy is a reference to the Dream World, which eventually came along in Pokemon Black and White, Generation 5. So that's a really cool foreshadowing. And then this guy. This guy is the guy we need to come to if we ever get fossils in the near future, which we will. So we'll remember that. And then let's just go ahead and head on out. And by the way, this menu automatically pops up. You don't open this menu yourself. We'll go to match call. And there's the president, Mr. Stone. I don't know what it is. Every time I love that little detail. That he looks down the window from the top of this building just to see you calling him. Alright, so with that out of the way, I'd like to put Whismur in the box. And then maybe also go ahead and do some light shopping. Alright, but now that's out of the way, let's go to the Pokemon. We'll ignore May for a moment. First I'm going to start selling stuff, like this. I don't use X items personally. I know there's a benefit to using them, but for me, I've never been one to use X items. But in this case, I'm going to grab a couple Pokeballs. And I'm going to avoid 10 so that I don't get the Premier Ball. So that should put us at 25. Yep. And then I'm going to get maybe 15 repels? Yeah. Doesn't leave me with a lot of money, but for what we're doing right now, we're good. Because I have plenty of potions. We'll just rock through it. So if I just gently approach and press A. Alright, so now she's registered. Guess he's on his way to his home. So he's caught by C. Yep. So, if I remember correctly, this is the one optional May fight in the entire game. And I don't think this was in Ruby and Sapphire. Not that I can remember. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and battle. It's always good to get the experience. Plus, I don't remember that her team being all that bad. Especially compared to what we have right now, we're doing pretty good. I mean, that's a one-hit KO. And then the Torchic, I don't remember it having anything too terrifying. I think it's Scratch, Ember, Growl, maybe Peck. But hopefully this one wing attack will do the trick. Yep. And then that should be a level up. Nice. And that's good context because that's the next place we need to go. We have to go after Mr. Briny and ask him to help us get to Dewford. But pretty much in the meantime, we're just going to go ahead and see what new routes we can open up with the new HM cut. So we'll go back into the woods. Got these trees on the right. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and pop up a repel. And I may just go ahead and bring it to the top. That way they're just like right there. And then what does she have to say? Oh, we got the Miracle Seed. And if we go down here, it's a hold item that raises the power of grass type moves. And I'm going to go ahead and give it to Grovyle. That'll hopefully help with the absorb being a little bit stronger, but we'll have to see. Oh no, that's the way we came, sorry. Is there a hidden item right here? Yep, a tiny mushroom. That's a good sell item. Let's grab that. And we'll pop one more repel and that should be it. Alright, we made out just fine. And then this should be Mr. Briny's cottage. Let's go inside. Okay. Come on, there we go. Sometimes if you're late on the press, you can't actually talk to him. But one of the things you can do is like get in the way of him and then you can talk to him. Alright. You're doing fine, so that's fine by me. That's great logic. Now, probably what I should do once there's a chance to get back to Little Root, I should probably see if I can add Mom to the Pokénav. I know it's probably not necessary, but it does help. Let's check real quick just to see. Nope. Reliable one is Dad. Rad neighbor is May. Devin President is Mr. Stone. I like that. But it's also really cool how on the side it shows you the number of contacts you have and then the number of battles you've had all together. Because the match call has the feature where you can do rematches, and that becomes really handy, especially in later in the game where you need to essentially level up and more or less grind, not exactly farm. So it's always good to have opponents on call, and sometimes they'll call you and say, hey, I want a rematch. Now that we landed in Dewford, we need to figure out where Steven is, but we're going to leave that for the next episode. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll be seeing you.